Day, beautiful. Hello, soulmates. Good evening, good day, good day. How are we doing, soulmates? Happy hump day. Please check in. Let me know where you're coming from. I was about to say where you're calling from. You're not calling. How are you doing today, Lisa? How are you feeling today on a scale of 1 through 5? Ooh, something just fell. How are you doing? That's good. Happy to hear that. Give me 1 second. Drop something back here. Oh, picture frame. Ha ha ha. Let's see what I got going on over here. That'll be all right. We're good. Finally feels like fall. It does, doesn't it? We are feeling the autumn temperatures. Yes, 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 yes. And remind me, where are you located at again, Lisa? You are in Nashville, Tennessee. Nice. Okay. So you kind of have that Midwest feel like I do. Yes, we are feeling that because it's been feeling a lot like summer lately. An Indian summer, which I've enjoyed, but I love autumn. I like fall. And then after that, I'm like, okay, once the sunlight starts to shorten, then that's when I'm like, okay, I'm ready for a shift. I need more daylight. I need more sun. Hey, Susie, how are you, beautiful? Awesome. Well, thank you for joining. Enjoy your yoga class. We may still be on by the time you leave your class. You know, I'm long winded. I did have a wonderful day, Lisa. Thank you for asking. And who else do we have here? Let's see. I see 8 meditators. Hey, Teresa in Oregon. Hey, Nina. Hey, Jackie, Canada, and Susie in Massachusetts. Hey, Bonnie. Silver, help, not be stressed and angry. Okay. And I have Aaron and Alan. Hello, soulmates. Welcome, 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 welcome. Thank you for being here because you could have been anywhere tonight and you chose to be here with me. And I am grateful to have you. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you all so much. Thank you for joining. For all of my soulmates that are new to me. And if this is your first time joining any of my lives, either on YouTube or Inside Timer, I am Keana Shatteen. I am the alchemist of healing. And my work is where healing meets truth and where silence finally finds voice. And everything I teach about comes from my lived experience of breaking cycles, reclaiming power, and speaking truth even when it shakes us and terrifies us. But I am the queen of truth telling because there's nothing more freeing than speaking your truth. So before we begin, soulmates, let us just breathe. Can we just please breathe? Pause. Let's just take a deep breath. Inhale, inhale, and I mean fully inhale through your nose, filling in your diaphragm. Just hold it for 4 seconds. And actually sigh, soulmates. Really sigh when you exhale because the sigh does something for you energetically. It allows your nervous system to regulate itself. It allows you to get back into your body and to get present. So with each inhale and exhale, allow your shoulders to drop. Just let the weight of the day slide down your spine. Feel your chest rising, your belly soften. Congratulations, soulmates. You made it here. You made it here today, tonight, this morning, this afternoon, wherever you are. And with everything that's going on in your life right now, everything that the day may have thrown your way, you still showed up today, and that matters. That means you showed up for yourself. You are powerful. Hello, soul. Oh, thank you, Allie. And Mineral Wall Breakers Try Hard. Okay, hi. Thank you all for being here. And I want us to check in, soulmates. How are we doing? We just had the full moon on Monday. Happy full moon in Aries. Did you all happen to see the full moon last night? I don't know where you all are located, but the moon was so big last night because this is a super full moon because the moon was closest to the earth. So I was able to get a very good glimpse of it. And last night, my son and I went to dinner, and as he's driving, I'm trying to capture pictures of this beautiful, big, beautiful sun. I mean, moon. I'm sorry. The moon was just, oh, it was just breathtaking. You saw it a couple of nights ago, April. Yes. And I just kept trying to take pictures, but the pictures just weren't doing it any justice because it was just wonderful. And then I was on the south side, south suburb. By the time I made it back to the western suburb where I'm at, I couldn't see it as close anymore. So I was grateful that I had the opportunity to catch it when I did. I'm in the United States, and my son was able to see it, and he was like, "Oh wow, that is a pretty big moon." I don't even think he would have noticed it had I not brought his awareness to it. So that meant a lot to me to be able to experience just that little moment with him because that was just powerful. Yes, Susie. And hello, soulmates. Thank you all for joining. And how seriously, because this moon not only was it big visually, but it also brought about big energy. So I'm serious. I'm curious to know, seriously, soulmates, like how are we doing? And if it was anything like the energy that I felt, because it was a full moon in Aries, it has that Mars energy. Maybe it was bold, probably loud. And maybe you didn't feel it directly with you, but maybe it affected the people around you. Because I know for me personally, people around me really were affected the most by it. And I also was able to honor and recognize everything that I set out to do when I plant my intentions during the Aries new moon back in March. I'm able to finally see the seeds start to blossom. So hopefully, soulmates, if you are someone who journals, who follows the moon cycle, then maybe this full moon allowed you the opportunity to look back on how far you've come. Because that's what else I had to do on Monday. I actually listened to a live that I did on New Year's Eve, 12/31/24. And it was a recap of 2024, but also preparing us for what to expect in 2025. But during that recap, I realized I've come a long way, soulmates. Can you celebrate how far you've come? Think about where we were on 1/1/25 and where we are today on 10/8/25. I'm grateful. I'm grateful because if the January version of me could see the me today, I just never would have imagined that this is where I would be. So celebrate yourself, soulmates. I'm saying that to remind you to not be so hard on yourselves. We are hard on ourselves as individuals, but celebrate your progress, celebrate your journeys, and allow yourself grace. Because we're going through a lot right now, collectively, especially. We are seeing daily things that are going on outside of us, things going on outside in our communities, in our neighborhoods, in our schools, in our culture. And that's why I do these lives. This is why I go out of my way because Spirit has shown me that what we're experiencing right now is very chaotic. It can be very trying. It can be very traumatic for most people. So, how do we do this together? How do we live in this world? Because this is a new world. How do we live in this world together and start to make these shifts collectively because we are all being affected by it? And for those that have been following me, you may recall the live that I did in November. I did a live on November 19th, 2024. That was actually the day that Pluto officially moved into Aquarius. And I wanted to do this live tonight to recap everything that I said would happen during that live. We're in the shift, soulmates. We are in it. And I just want to raise our awareness, bring our awareness to this, and also help us start to shift the way we've been operating, the way we've been loving, the way we've been connecting. And tonight, I'm not here to talk about any of whatever that is you're talking about on YouTube. I'm not here to talk about MAGA or anti MAGA. What I'm here to talk about tonight is honesty, healing, truth. and new ways of loving, because that's what I'm here to talk about: love, connection, honesty, releasing fear, releasing toxicity, releasing chaos. I could care about what political, religion, I don't care about any of that. I talk to people's souls. And so tonight, that's what we're going to be talking about. So for anyone that has just joined my live on YouTube or an Insight Timer, and if that's not something you want to hear about, kindly exit. And I wish you nothing but love and light. But here in this space with Keana Shatteen, it's all love and light over here, love. So tonight, we are here to be honest, soulmates. Like I've always told you, I am here to create a safe space for us to heal out loud. So we're here to speak truth, soulmates. And not just the kind of truth that is just happening in us. See, it's happening around us. Because for so long, fear and ego has shaped the way we've loved, the way we connect, and even the way we show up in the world, the way we show up to people, the way we show up as individuals. And for most of us, that's exactly where healing begins. See, healing is in the tension between who we've been taught to be and who our souls are actually calling us to be, who we're becoming, because on a soul deep level is where the awakening is occurring. I've been telling you for months, soulmates, what's happening right now is a spiritual wake up. We are in the great awakening. See, prior to Pluto moving to Aquarius, and for centuries, from the beginning of time, it feels like we have been taught that love looks like survival, not safety, or it looks like control, not connection. But now that Pluto is in Aquarius, this energy right now, it is absolutely calling us to wake up the way we rebuild, the way we connect, most importantly, the way that we love, and the power from speaking our truth, because there's nothing more loving than speaking your truth. How many of us thought that if we lied, we were protecting the other person? We lied, or we resisted, or we tried to coerce a situation out of love. That is not love. And the most loving thing we can do, and the most powerful thing we can do, is speak our truth. See, we have to learn how to stop loving from our wounds and actually start healing through love itself. That's what Healing Out Loud has always been about. The foundation of this movement is love, healing through love. Because love is healing, love is beautiful. And I hear people debate all day long: what is love? How does it look? How much does it cost? Love is all that there is. Love is all in us and around us. We're never not in love, because love is in us as long as we have a breath in our body and a beating heart. We are beings of love. So that's what this next 20-year segment is going to look like for the collective. Because on November 19, 2024, when Pluto moved into Aquarius, it began this 20-year collective transition where we have not experienced anything like this in any of our lifetimes. Because the last time Pluto was in Aquarius was about 247 years ago, which means that right now we are alive and we are in a world that is about to be different. We get the opportunity to determine what this new world will look like as people. Because the last time Pluto was in Aquarius, the world witnessed revolutions. We witnessed the birth of new nations, the fight for freedom and individuality. Doesn't that sound familiar? Wake up, soulmates. Everything is repeating itself. 247 years ago, people were reclaiming their voices. There was a radical change in how we connected and how we built in society. And here we are in the year of 2025, and it is happening again. But this time is not just political, And it's not just social, it's personal, it's spiritual, it's soul deep. And we can't ignore it, we can't outrun it, because 2025 is not the year where you can escape yourself. Spirit is going to wake us up. We are all being awakened, whether we know it or not. Why? Because Pluto transforms and exposes whatever it touches. Remember, Pluto is the planet that rules Scorpio, which is all about transformations, rebirths, deaths, new beginnings. And absolutely, this is a time of a new beginning because we need it. So a lot of things are being shaken up. A lot of things are being reborn for a reason. Every day, I know you're looking at the news. Every day, you're probably reading the newspaper. You're probably looking at the headlines. And I told you before, soulmates, I don't look at the news, but whenever I go to the gym, I see it. And I went to the gym the other day, and it was Tuesday. And I just remember I was on the treadmill, and I couldn't stay on the treadmill because all I could see on the TV was the news. And it was really making me feel some type of way emotionally and mentally, because it was just too much chaos, and I could feel the energy on the collective level. So I had to remove myself from the treadmill and remove myself from the chaos and the madness that I was seeing on the TV. Because, see, soulmates, I told you, they're trying to distract us. But now you have Pluto in Aquarius. So now you have Pluto transforming and exposing it, because what Aquarius represents is the zodiac sign of truth, of freedom, of authenticity. It's about collective power. It's about breaking outdated systems. So, what a wonderful time to be alive right now during this powerful movement that we are getting ready to shift. Because Pluto in Aquarius is shaking loose all of the illusions that we've lived under: control, the mask of false versions of love, of self, of who we've been trying to hold on to. Who are we, soulmates? I asked a friend of mine this yesterday. I said, who are you outside of your job, outside of the things that you experienced in your childhood, outside of the relationships, outside of all of that? Who are you on a soul deep level? And what is it that you want for yourself? Not what society dictates, not because of your age, but who are you? Because this energy right now, soulmates, it is awakening us to our own individual truths. So we've been wearing the mask with ourselves, and we haven't even been loving on us the correct way. Then guess what, soulmates? That has to be dismantled. Because this energy is showing us that relationships and our identities that we have ever built on fear or ego, it will be lost. Because, see, Pluto does not care about comfort. It's never going to be comfortable. But what it cares about is evolution. And it's time for an evolution. So right now, many of us are being pulled into deeper truths. Maybe you're starting to recognize, maybe you are seeing your patterns where you've been given more than you've actually been receiving. Or the moments where you've been silent just to feel chosen. And let's be honest, soulmates, how many of us are in relationships and we bite our tongue, we don't speak our truth because we want to be chosen. We don't want to ruffle the feathers. We want to keep the other person happy at the cost of our own voice. Hey, April, how are you? Hey, Angela. Yeah, Angela, so much love and light and prayers for your son. Angela, for those that don't know, says her oldest son is high ranking in military, and I'm so fearful for his safety. And I can understand that, Angela. I'm fearful for my son's safety, and he'll be 18. And just thinking about the world that we're living in and just the things that I've seen. I don't live in the city, but my son is pretty close to the city. And when I think about all that's happening in the city of Chicago, it even not so much scares me, it fuels me to want to do the opposite of fear and being scared. I'd rather be in love. I'd rather bring more joy instead of being in fear and being scared. because you can't help but not be scared. But I always try to pour into my son that no matter what, he's always protected and divinely guided. And regardless of what happens in this world, he knows who he is on a soul deep level. And I always tell him, don't let the world tell you who you are, because they will try to, because you are a Black man in America and you're one of the most powerful people in this world. And never forget it. And thank you to your son, Angela, for his service, most importantly. Absolutely. And thank you, Robert, for joining. So let's be honest, soulmates. Let's be real with ourselves. What patterns have you noticed about yourself for the things that you've done? Maybe you've been this way for years, where you're starting to realize this is not serving you anymore. You're no longer happy with the way things are. In the moments where maybe you silenced yourself to make somebody else feel good, or maybe the places where we've confused attachment with intimacy. Let's be honest, soulmates. This is the only way we heal. How many of us connect attachment, physical attraction, physical attachment, emotional attachment with intimacy? Because sometimes we're thinking we're bonding with people and it can be a trauma bond. It's not necessarily intimacy, it's more so codependency. That's why we are being challenged in this time, especially to think about the way that we've been building love. See, Pluto and Aquarius is inviting us to start to build love on truth and emotional maturity. Relationships where two adults, two individuals, I don't care about sex, I don't care about the gender, but two souls that can come together, or multiple, if that's your thing, but you can bring your whole self into the relationship and still feel safe, still feel in alignment with the person, with the people, or the individuals. See, Pluto and Aquarius is showing us this now. It is teaching us that real love is not about dominance, it's not about control, it is about integrity. It's about your values, being honest, being authentic with yourself. And real love does not cost you yourself. You don't have to sacrifice yourself for love. Honestly, soulmates, we shouldn't have to sacrifice ourselves for anything, especially not love. And because Pluto is an Aquarius, it wants freedom. Aquarius is about freedom. And it's not freedom just to escape, it's more so about freedom that runs towards intimacy. Being able to be honest, being able to be me fully and completely as I am. And whether this individual accept me or not, I can still be me. But if they accept me, we have an alignment, then we absolutely can be intimate. We can be connected. And it doesn't mean you have to be physical. You can have spiritual bonds. You can just have platonic bonds. See, we've only been conditioned to see love to look a certain way. Either it's romantic love or it's familial love. And for the last year and a half, I have been constantly feeling like I'm in this boat by myself, in this world, struggling by myself, trying to teach people what unconditional love looks like. Nobody else can understand that when you love unconditionally, you don't have expectations. You give love because you have love to give. I don't mean burning yourself out or over giving, but I mean, if I'm in a position to help somebody else that's in need, the most loving thing I can do is support them. And I'm going to give you an example, soulmates. So last week, because I'm honest, soulmate. So last week, I asked my husband, I said, do you mind if I stay at your house while he's out of town? He's on a business trip. I said, do you mind if I stay at your house with our son? And he said, I don't mind, but I have to ask my girlfriend. Now, he doesn't live with his girlfriend, but she has keys and he's in a relationship. And I respect that. So he asked and she said no. And I said, it's fine. I get it. I said, but I wonder why she felt the need to say no. Because he and I are not together. We will never be together. He's not even at the house. My goal was to just be there with my son because he's at home by himself with the dog, which he can handle, but still, it's my boy. But nonetheless, I had to realize everybody doesn't think and everybody doesn't have a heart that I have as much as I want us to. Everybody is not there. And somebody had to remind me of that. I said, because if the shoe was on the other foot, and say if it was a partner of mine and they wanted their ex, whatever the case may be, I would fully understand it because love is love is love. It's not about whether or not you had a history or you had a past. Now, I know that takes a strong level of emotional maturity, but that's what Pluto and Aquarius is about. So, soulmates, if you've been feeling restlessness, or maybe that inkling inside of yourself and a quiet knowing that something is just not right anymore, whether that's in your platonic relationships, your romantic relationships, I want you to know you're not crazy. You are not imagining it. That's exactly what this energy is calling. I've received a lot of letters. I've been receiving a lot of communication, a lot of comments, having a lot of conversations with people regarding their relationships and the shifts that they're having. Some people I've been communicating with have been in on and off again situationships. And this is the year to ask yourself, is this still what you want? Are you sure this is what you want? Because love does not have to look like this. Love does not have to be toxic. In fact, love is not toxic. Love is a beautiful thing. It's nurturing, it's giving, it's caring, it's kind. But the world we live in makes us feel like we have to earn love when love is something that should just be given. So I've been having this constant battle with the real me and the version of me that the world has been trying to teach me to be. And all year, I'm constantly having this conversation. I'm constantly having this debate on what love actually looks like. Welcome to the Great Awakening, soulmates, because that's what this is. And if you're experiencing that right now, you are not crazy. You're awakening. You are evolving. So, congratulations. Will the real me please stand up? I know that's right, Sandy. And that's what I had to step into, the real me, Sandy, because I have been battling back and forth. Well, God, are you sure that? Well, why is it that I'm the only one that can see love like this? Why is it that when I meet a human being or when I interact with someone, I can see them from the inside out versus the outside in? Well, why is it that I try to meet people where they are? Well, why is it that people try to take advantage of my kindness? It's not me, it's them. And in fact, I've had the spiritual awakening moment about love 2 years ago because my heart got broken because I love somebody who just basically disappointed me. But it was in the process of healing that I realized that it's not even about them, it's about me. And as long as I love me enough, nobody could ever hurt me. As long as I'm loving on me the way I should be loved, then I don't have to worry about somebody else hurting me because what they gave is just extra. Because when you are in love with you and you know how to love yourself and you have self worth and you have values and the real you leads, then you don't have to worry about who walks out the door, who decides that you're too much for them. Because believe it or not, soulmates, sometimes your love can be too much. At least I know mine is. I've realized now that my love can be too much, and I'm proud of that. Hey, Doc, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining. Absolutely, Lisa. And you're not crazy because I'm trying to tell you, I question myself. Hey, Chris, I question myself for years. What is wrong with me? Why can't I get these people to love me right? It's not they can't love me right. It's just they don't know what that type of love looks like because they have not found it within. And there's nothing good nor bad, it just is. So maybe I can just embody love and show them love because that's who I am. And either they'll accept it, they'll embrace it, or they won't. Oh, thank you, Doc. I love your energy and thank you for being here. So, soulmates, it's 2025. And I want you to ask yourself, where has fear been leading your love life? Where has fear actually been dictating how you show up in love? Notice the oxymoron in it, love and fear. Make it make sense because they're the opposite. Because love can't exist where fear is. See, that's when I had to learn after surviving suicide attempts, domestic violence, sexual abuse, and all of the things that I had to endure to learn how to love on me the proper way. I realized that fear can't live within me if I want to continue to embody love because my life depended on it. Because fear almost took me out. So, how are we allowing fear to lead our love life? I had a conversation with somebody close to me the other day. I said, why do you keep trying to go back to something that is not healthy and toxic? What about that feels good to you? Do you think that's what love's supposed to look like? Does that feel normal to you? And I'm gonna be honest, almost a lot of us think that if we fight, that's okay. And I'm not saying that love is going to be easy peasy because it won't. But you can have conflict, you can have disagreements with love, in love. In fact, you should. That's how you evolve. But if it's toxic and if you're banging your head against the wall and if you're somebody's emotional crutch, that's not love. Chris says, I tell people, don't love me like that all the damn time. I love you, Chris. You're so honest. Absolutely. Lisa says, I love hard, and some people take that for weakness. But I'm not going to stop loving. I will just stop loving certain people, continue to be who I am. Doc said, that's so true. After going through all that, releasing fear is so important. And seeing you in this energy makes me realize, absolutely, you are so capable of it. In fact, we was born with just love. We didn't know what fear was. Life made us understand what fear was. And I'm at the point now where I have went through so much to the what do I have to be afraid of? I almost tried to take my own life. So there's nothing that anything outside of me can do to me. I'm my own worst enemy. And that's when I have to tell fear, you don't live here. There's nothing but love because I choose to lead with love because that's the God within. April says, I heard a quote, relationships are assignments for our growth and healing. Absolutely, April. See, we have never been taught that. That's exactly what Pluto and Aquarius is about. Our relationships are reflecting to us the wounds that we need to heal. And either we can heal together or we're going to go our separate ways. But believe you me, soulmates, you will heal. God is not playing spirit, Allah, Buddha, whatever you choose to believe in, will not allow you to keep outrunning yourself. This is the year to heal because what? Love heals. And once you find that love within, that's when the healing begins. Yes, Lisa, be in your healing era, beautiful. Because when you get through the other side, when you come out on the other side, all you feel is love. Because you look at all that you've been through, all that you survived, and you still chose to love. You still led with your heart. Do you know how easy it is for people to just shut down? You know how many people die unhappy, single, and alone because they were afraid to open up their hearts again? Because they were taught that love hurt, that love harmed, that love was toxic. I've heard people that thought that love was their partner physically hitting them or verbally abusing them. I'm a domestic violence survivor, so I get it. I did think that was love. But when you learn how to heal from all the things that have kept us stuck, where the ego convinced us to chase connection instead of creating it, when you wake up to what's true and unlearn the things that they tried to teach us about love, you start to realize where you're being called to surrender control and trust healing instead. And this is the age of Aquarius, soulmates. We got 20 years to be in this space, be in this energy. So let's get started now, because November 19, 2025 is around the corner, which means we will have been in this transit for a year. We still got 23 more years. But already we're seeing the shifts. I'm already feeling them. I've gone through a situation within the last few months that helped me see this is what love looks like when you are healing together. Okay. And because I've already done the work, I get to be the teacher for my partner to help them realize that what we're going through right now is healing. And it's okay if we can't go through this together, because I'm going to continue to heal, because the more I heal, the more I evolve, the more I can give to the soulmates, the more I can give to the world. Because like I told you before, soulmates, the more we heal, the more love we feel, the more we give, the more we gravitate, the more we radiate, and the more that collective energy is felt. Think about it, soulmates. You don't see them talking about love on the news. You don't see them talking about love in media. They talk about the toxic, low vibrational things. And then we wonder why the world moved the way that it moves. What if we talked about more love, more connection, more building, more unity? What kind of collective shift will we have then? What if we talked about more healing? Because that's what we're doing. That's my mission. It's to help us see that. Help us realize that we got to stop losing ourselves in love. Start loving in a way that heals us and the world. And you know what is even more beautiful, soulmates, is not just Pluto and Aquarius that is calling us to this energy, because truth be told, this same message has been written in the Bible. Because in the book of Amos, it says, can two walk together unless they are agreed? See, that's what alignment looks like. That's the foundation of any healthy relationship, whether that's romantic, platonic, professional, spiritual, or otherwise. See, alignment is when two more people, two souls, multiple souls, can actually work together to decide not just to love each other, but to move in the same direction with honesty, respect, emotional maturity, trust, understanding, and spiritual intention. That's what this energy is calling us for. See, we've never experienced this before, because this is the first time we've experienced Pluto and Aquarius in our entire lifetime. And we will never experience this again, because we won't be here in 252 years. Outside of when it leaves in 2044, God willing, we're still here to see it. But imagine what the world will be like if we start loving and healing today in 2025. Imagine what it would look like to find people that you can move with, whether that's friends, soulmates, partners, that actually value you as a person, they respect who you are. Because see, when love is aligned with spirit, it doesn't drain you, soulmates, it refines you. It pulls you closer to your purpose. It deepens your connection, not just to another individual, but to spirit, to God, to source, to universe, to your truth, to who you truly becoming. That's what this energy is about. Find your tribe, soulmates. Find your people. Chris says, love is damn sure not put your hands on me. Refer to my second statement of this live. Don't love me like that. And if you don't abide the first rule, I pull out Tupac Shakur. I ain't killing, but don't push me. Yes, absolutely, Chris. I concur. We don't want to kill either, but that's why I always say, check the boundaries. Check your boundaries. Because you don't have to love anybody until you exhaust yourself neither. Again, you can't pour from an empty cup. So how can you love on somebody and keep pouring love into somebody that you're not even giving yourself? Make that make sense. Because you can't build anything that's not built on a solid foundation. So if there's cracks, voila, they are expanding. If you have not addressed the cracks, like I told you on December 31st, 2024, Those cracks should probably be looking really big by now because now you can't. You're about to fall in because you're not addressing these cracks. And if fear is your cement, then the house is going to crumble. And if ego is your blueprint, it may look strong on the outside, but it won't hold when life starts to test you. Because see, the ego is just fear. That's control. That's not authentic. And I'm not saying you can't have a healthy balance of ego, but the ego that we've been operating in, the ego that keeps us stuck in fear and control and manipulation, that's not the type of ego energy that this shift is asking for. And if you're someone who allows silence to be the glue to hold things together, eventually that truth is going to break apart. Then soulmates, the truth sets you free. And I mean that. There's nothing more powerful than finally speaking your truth to somebody that you have been hiding it from. I wish I had the opportunity. And I say this all the time when I think about the relationship with my father. He and I were not communicating. He died in 2014. And I always remember, I wish I had the chance to truly speak my truth and tell him how I felt before his transition. And I never got the chance. And it really ate me up on the inside. It really did something to me. And I realize now I don't want to wait because tomorrow's not promised. So let me speak my truth. Let me show love. Let me show support. Let me be the best me today while I still can, but especially let me speak my truth, especially to people that love me. Because if you love me, you can accept my truth. You're not threatened by my truth. You embrace my truth, even if you don't agree with it, because that's what love looks like. See, the age of Aquarius is calling us now to inspect any of our foundations so that we can start to rebuild from the ground up with truth, transparency, and integrity. Once again, spiritual integrity, personal integrity. We're being called to choose alignment over attachment, communication over confusion, because a lot of us can't even communicate effectively. Most of us can't. Most of us have a hard time communicating effectively, especially when we're triggered, when our emotions and our nervous system is out of whack and out of balance. And when we are feeling attacked, the only thing we want to do is just be heard. We just want to be right. That's the ego. See, that's not what love looks like. See, when you love somebody and when you have communication, confrontation, you can have it with love, meaning you hold space for the other individual to speak their truth. You don't have to agree with it. It's just them speaking how they feel. And it doesn't make it right nor wrong. And it's not for you to debate if that's the way that they feel. And if there's miscommunication, clarify it. But sometimes we don't know how to do that because most of us have not been taught emotional maturity. Truthfully, none of us have, because emotional intelligence was not even a thing. We're still trying to understand emotional intelligence. I'm still working with people on understanding emotional intelligence. Hey, Doc. I look forward to seeing your another live, and I'll see you soon. I have to go now. Today's a heavy day, and it's my grandmother's funeral, and I was afraid to go up there, but you made me realize I need to face this and have the courage to say goodbye. Thank you for joining, and condolences. And yes, go celebrate your grandmother. Make that peace and then celebrate her life and think about the memories. And remember, she's always with you. Her soul is definitely with you. And I'm proud of you for making that choice. So thank you for joining. So, soulmates, where are you today? It's October 8th, 2025. Where are you in terms of your relationships, in terms of how you showing up with yourself? How aligned do you feel in your connections, in your life, in your work? And alignment is not about perfection. It's not about being perfect. It's just about finding what actually matches you. And that doesn't mean that you find perfect relationships, because that's not possible. Doesn't mean you'll find somebody that you'll never disagree with or that your pace will always match, because we're humans. But it means your spirits are walking in the same direction. Even if the steps look different, Do we have the same end goal? Do we believe in something greater than us? When people can walk side by side and honor each other's individuality, yet we are still united in vision, in purpose, and peace. When love is aligned spiritually, when you have a spiritual love, it feels like walking in rhythm with the divine. It's not chaotic, it's not heavy, it's not fear, it's not resistance, it's not fighting, it's not violence, it's not silence. It's walking in rhythm. It's no longer about control, it's not about coercion, it's about co creation. And we're not here to fix one another. Let me say that again. We're not here to fix one another. We're not here to fix one another. Because we also were taught that love looked like that. How many of us thought that love meant, well, I have to fix the person? Well, I have to help them. Guilty. That was my story. I always felt like I had to fix my person because there was a part of me that wished I could have had somebody support me in the same way. So, because I didn't understand a healthy dynamic of what love looked like, I gravitated towards partners that needed me to help them because I felt like that's how I was proving my love. Then I end up losing myself in the love. That is not what love looks like at all. It's not about fixing, it's about growing together through grace. And when you walk that way, soulmates, see, your connection becomes your ministry. You embody it. It's no longer just about relationships. See, it's about connection. It's about connection, not about a relationship, but connecting with like-minded souls on a soul deep level. It feels like peace after years of chaos. That's what real alignment feels like. Chris says, I'm trying to be that supportive partner in the back while she shines like. And you know what, Chris? Any healthy dynamic, at one point, one person will be in the front, one person takes the lead, somebody else falls back. Student becomes the teacher, teacher becomes the student. The role is reversed. And if it's aligned and if it's reciprocal, like the energy that we're in now, then that works out. Nobody is overgiving or undergiving. Remember, I said that. That's what this season especially has been about. But most importantly, Pluto in Aquarius is really shaking up how we love. Because we have been shown, we have been taught that love stops, or rather, love is like a battlefield. But it's not. Love is sacred. It's not a battlefield. Love is when truth becomes the language that you both speak. It's when you realize you don't need to be perfect to be chosen. You just need to be present, be honest, be willing to walk in agreement if that feels right for you. See, love feels good. It feels good physically. How many of us, and be honest, soulmates, how many of us can be around certain individuals and you just feel like your body starts to ache, or maybe you get a twitch in your eye, or maybe you feel a tingle or something on the side of you? Have you ever experienced that when your body even reacts around a certain person or a situation? I know last year, almost around this time last year, I had severe shoulder pain in my rotator cuff on my left side. And I never experienced anything like that before. It was really painful, especially at night. And I couldn't understand, why is this happening? But I realized that the person who I thought I was in alignment with at the time was creating so much chaos on not only an emotional level, but a spiritual level, because they were pretending to be someone who was a spiritual leader and a spiritual guide, but they were not walking it like they were talking it. And the spiritual being that I am, I felt it. Even though I tried to ignore my intuition, my body was screaming that this is not right. This doesn't feel good. But I tried to ignore my truth. And one thing about spirit, will sit you down. It will sit you down until you wake up and realize it. When you have learned, mastered it, then you realize, I don't want this anymore. You choose different. You love different. I know, right, Alan? Sounds like a couple of siblings. Sounds like a lot of people that I know. And it's not their fault. We just didn't know. And that's why we have now to teach us differently, to show us differently. Because when you realize that you don't have to be perfect to be chosen, and you can be honest about how you feel and still be chosen, see, that's when the liberation comes in. That's when you feel free because you say, I love me enough to know I could just be me. And whomever I decide to co create with, they will accept me for just the way that I am, the loving spiritual being that my creator made me to be. And if they can't accept the soulmate, then that is their loss. And it's not bad nor good, it's just the truth. Chris says, I'm that guy that's like, put on that freakum dress, baby, when we step out. Because they can look hard as hell, but I know who you're coming home with. I'm confident in what I bring home to the table or what I bring to the table. Absolutely. When you love you and you're secure within yourself, you don't have a reason to feel threatened or insecure by someone else. And it took a long time for me to accept it. I'm a Scorpio. I can be territorial. I was never the jealous type, but I'm very territorial because when I let people in, I really truly let them in because I just don't let anybody in to my space where I can actually open up and be vulnerable. So I'm like, you're my people because I allowed myself to connect with you because again, I'm a loving being. But I had to realize that everybody doesn't love the way, they don't understand the way that I love because they have not never experienced it. So just being present, soulmates, just being honest, being yourself, that's love. Because that's the bridge between what's real and what will last. When love and truth can walk together, they build foundations that not even a storm can destroy. That's the type of foundations that we have to start creating. Because I'm going to be honest with you, soulmates. If the people around you are not in alignment with you, do you realize how they can block your blessings? I mean, they can block you financially, they can block you emotionally, they can block you physically. I'll use me again as an example. There have been partners that I've been with that sometimes I start to pick up on their habits, things that I never used to do, but then I start picking up on their habits. Some of them were good, some were bad. But how many of us pick up on our partner's habits? And then before you know it, you're no longer yourself. You're starting to do things that you normally wouldn't do. Or maybe you're losing your voice. Maybe you're distracted. I know for me, I was notorious for being distracted. Whenever I would get in a relationship, I couldn't focus on what my goals were because I'm too busy trying to be in this relationship. I'm trying to show them love that I've negated and neglected myself. So I have things I have to do now. So I'm intentional about what this looks like. I have to have the right people in alignment with me. Absolutely, Chris, guilty as charged until you woke up. Because, see, I realized the circumstance and the situation I was in last year was blocking my blessing. I mean, truly blocking my blessing. I couldn't get my book out. I couldn't get my message out. I couldn't get clear on what it was Spirit was trying to get me to do because I was so distracted, constantly having to battle and prove what love truly looked like and prove that I was worthy of healthy love. And I realized, why am I trying to prove myself to somebody that just won't get it? Because they don't have it within them. And it's not my job to give it to them. That's what Pluto and Aquarius energy is about. So, soulmates, ask yourself, how is it feeling when you're in these relationships? Even if you've been with somebody 20 plus years, maybe you're starting to feel, or maybe you're starting to notice that it's not feeling the same. It's not looking the same. And I want you to sit with that word alignment. Alignment, not perfection, not pretending, alignment. And I want you to honestly, truthfully ask yourself, are you walking side by side with people that share your values? Do they share your growth? Do they share your faith? Or are you just trying to convince someone to take a path that their spirit isn't ready for? Again, guilty. I've tried to do that. And it wasn't that I was trying to, it's just that the person appeared to be ready. But see, you can't outrun yourself. And one thing about spirit, you can't lie to. And you can't lie to me because I know when it's right. because I can feel it. And if you're on a spiritual path, you know those that are in alignment with you, they embody it. You can see your reflection in the other individual. Start there. Are the people that you with, do you see you in them? Are they a reflection of you? Chris says, no, I've been settling for someone not on the same path. See, Chris, and that's that. You have to be honest. This is what this energy is calling for. Are you okay with that? I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm telling you that this is what this energy is about. And you can address it now, or you can just stay there. But it won't go away. In fact, it's going to get louder. I told you, Pluto is in Aquarius until 2044. So if you're not, that foundation isn't solid now, well, what do you think is going to happen next? See, Pluto and Aquarius and even the book of Amos are both basically reiterating the same things. You have to build before you commit. Before we can truly align and start to create a future, you have to make sure the foundation is solid. Check your alignment. Is this really in alignment with me? See, keep in mind, soulmates, we all can evolve, we all change, we all grow, hopefully. And sometimes people can't grow with you. And it doesn't make it bad. It's just sometimes it just doesn't work. I'm divorced. We couldn't grow together. We had to separate in order to elevate, but we still got to the path that we needed to get on. That's what love looks like. So let the relationship end, let it go. So they can grow and you can too, because you deserve it just as much as they do. Good job, Chris. Stand your ground. Speak your truth. See, love without alignment is just, you're just surviving. You're just trying to make it work because you don't even know what the foundation is. Because everybody has that honeymoon phase. When you meet somebody, usually the first 90 days, it is just, oh, love, 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 love. Oh, I can't get enough of this person. This my person, this my person. But then when that wears off, and when things start to get real, and when life starts to life, then we start to see the cracks be exposed. Now we're starting to look at whether or not the foundation was ever there. Were we just building this on side? This isn't true. This isn't solid. We can't build anything on this because we're not being real. We're not being honest. We don't even know how to love ourselves. So how can I love somebody else? Love built in spiritual and emotional alignment is what 2025 is asking for us to do. But we can't get there if we have not healed, if we are not even emotionally in alignment with who we are. Like April said, that's what the relationships are about. Our partners, our children and our partners trigger us the most, and probably even our parents. My parents are deceased, so they're not triggering me. But the partners, especially, they're going to trigger you the most because that's where spirit is trying to get you to see there's something there that you need to grow through. There is something here that needs to be exposed so that you can evolve. But most of the time we're afraid because, truth be told, we know that it's time to leave the person, but we're not ready to make that choice. We don't want to admit that this is not working because many of us don't want to start over. Many of us are tired. Many of us are just ready to find our person. We're tired of having to go through it again, especially as you get older. And if you've never been married and if you have all these expectations for yourself, you'll settle and you'll think this is the best that I can do because you haven't realized that you are more worthy and valuable than that. So love you enough to say, I do want more. Yes, Lisa, enjoy your single life because in the single life is where you truly find out who you are. I told you I went through a really powerful breakup, September 26, 2023. And my life transformed. Has not been the same. It was like the straw that broke the camel's back. Spirit woke me up, and I have never looked at love or relationships the same. Not in a negative way, but I realized where I was going wrong at in all my relationships. I never even truly knew, first of all, what true love looked like, nor my self-worth. And I never realized that the people that I was attracting were not really reflections of me, because I didn't even see me in the highest version of me. Spirit had to reveal that to me in the most drastic way possible. That's why I keep saying Spirit will sit you down when you need to wake up. Alan says, my love can be unconditional, but my time, energy, and focus often need to be. Yes, Alan, great point. This is why boundaries are so important. You love people with boundaries. My time and energy and focus, I can't get that back. You can't get that back. So be very discerning about whom you are investing your time and your energy and focus into. I told you I was distracted. I was in such low vibrational energy that I forgot what I was doing. There were days where I would wake up like, oh my God, what is this for? And this is after the attempt. And I still had a moment like that. That's when I knew this is not love. I should never feel this way about my life and my lights and my purpose. Something is not aligning with me. This is not me. Do you know that sometimes soulmates, you pick up on others people's energy? You're carrying their energy. It took me years to understand that I was carrying other people's energy. I had two spiritualists tell me that. But the last time I actually felt it, because I realized it. I'm around certain individuals, and prior to me stepping into this room and into this space, I was fine. Why am I feeling like this? This is not mine. It's to carry. That's why alignment is especially important. This is why you have to be careful about who you're in alignment with. They will block your energy. They will block your abundance, your prosperity, your blessings. Because you can't attract anything in a low vibrational state. You can't attract anything in a fear-based state. Why would God give you, why would the universe give you anything if you don't even know you're worthy and deserve it? You don't even know to ask. I deserve and expect more. Exactly, Chris. That's what we have to realize. And that's why this energy is loud. You have to know that you deserve more. Even though that may sound selfish, it's okay to be selfish with yourself, because this is a time to be selfish. Selfish with how you're showing up and advocating for you and your voice. See, love built in spiritual and emotional alignment, soulmates, that becomes destiny. That's when we walk in alignment with ourselves, with spirit, with my soulmates. Love becomes the healing that the world needs. Healing becomes the truth of what it is that we need. And love is the antidote, soulmates. That's how we're going to heal out loud. That's what the foundation has always been. Speaking of which, soulmates, I want to just read an excerpt of one of the letters I received. For those that don't know, Healing Out Loud, the series I created to create more safe spaces for us to heal out loud. But I've allowed people to send their letters about the things that they're holding in silence. And this letter, just to give you a glimpse, says that, and honestly, soulmates, when I read this letter, I had to stop midway because I instantly could feel the energy. I can almost know exactly what the person says, but it was an anonymous letter. I don't know where they came from. I don't know the sex or the gender, but it says, everyone thinks I'm living the dream. He's handsome, stable, polite, the one my mama prayed for. Okay. We look good together, but behind closed doors, we sleep back to back. He reaches for me and I freeze. Not because I don't want him, but because my body remembers the last time I said no, and he laughed like I was joking. He says I'm cold. I say I'm tired. She says, we pray before bed. I'm assuming this is a she. We pray before bed, and I cry in the bathroom after. And every morning, wow, every morning I wake up wondering how I became somebody or someone who's scared of disappointing another person. And I'm going to leave it at that, soulmates. I'll read the rest of it on the series because it goes into more detail. But for those that don't know, you can subscribe on my YouTube to see the rest of the letter, and I will unpack it and give them more guidance. But I wanted to read that letter because right now, that's exactly what is waking up in us. People are starting to see that what we thought was love is not working. People are married, unhappily married. Listen, soulmates, I get it. I get it. I know what the Bible says. I know what we believe about marriage. And I know nobody goes into a marriage wanting to divorce. However, if you are not at peace and if you are not happy, then why are you staying there? It's okay to choose you and love you enough to know that I am not happy in this situation. So let me free myself so we both can have peace. As somebody who tried to live unhappily married, I almost lost myself. It's not worth it. And I have to say that because I know a lot of us are struggling right now with this very, very, and that's a very, very hard decision to make. I know it is, especially when you have built a life with somebody and you thought this was your forever ever and it doesn't turn out like that. That is so chaotic and scary, terrifying, trust me. But what's on the other side is much more peaceful and it's so worth it. So I wanted to leave the letter there because basically what the individual was speaking, like I said, I felt that. I can feel it. And the rest of the letter goes into more detail. But like I said, you can watch the rest on Healing Out Loud series. And that is why I have to do this live because Pluto and Aquarius is forcing us to confront these truths. Because we will try to stay in a situation if it looks good, it looks good on paper, we look good in the photos, the holiday cards look good. Trust me, soulmates, I've been there, done that. Used to celebrate Christmas Eve, had the family photos around, the photographer there, and all along I am suffering in silence. I am not happy. Nobody deserves to live unhappy. I don't care, soulmates. You gotta be able to enjoy your life, not trying to please somebody else or do what you think the world expects of you. You have to do what feels right for you, what your soul is calling you to do. Because if I had never made the choice, well, I shouldn't say made, if spirit had never forced me to finally leave my marriage, I don't even know if I would be here today. I probably wouldn't. Because after going through that very, for me, scary moment, is when I discovered my strength, when I discovered my voice, when I discovered who I was, because I didn't even know who I was outside of a relationship. I had been in a relationship for so long that as an adult, a grown woman, I didn't know who Keana Shatteen was. Outside of being a mother and a wife and working for some company in human resources, that's all I thought I was. And Pluto and Aquarius is saying we don't have to live like that. We can be loving beings, connecting with people that align with us, the real us, the us today. Pluto and Aquarius is forcing us to confront any truths that we've been trying to hide behind. See, the kind of love that doesn't leave bruises on your body, but it still marks your soul. I think that hurts more than anything. I know for me it did. I can't tell you how many family functions and holidays I would sit there pretending like I was happy. And all along, I'm like, I wish I could be somewhere else. But I did the thing because it was a family function and I'm married and I have a son and I want us to look like we're happy. We have this image and everybody thinks this is us, right? So let me just continue to live this way. And it did me and my husband a disservice until we were able to be honest. Free yourself, soulmates. Free yourself from something that just doesn't feel good, especially if it's unhealthy. It's time to break any cycles of pain in love because love doesn't hurt. It's time to stop disappearing in relationships that are draining you and to finally trust ourselves enough to choose differently. Trust yourself. And I know somebody out there that when I was reading that letter, I saw the hearts. I know you felt yourself in that. You're not alone. Because how many of us think we can have this picture perfect life, yet we're still feeling unloved at home? That is a very, very, very dark place to be. To feel like you're a stranger in your own house or the person that you're living with is a stranger. You're just not in alignment. Free yourself, free them, because you're both in the process of becoming something better, something more powerful. And it's okay to start over, and it's okay to say, we didn't work together as a couple, but maybe we can just be friends, or maybe we never speak again. But I appreciate the lessons learned, the blessings, and now I'm ready for the new me. And if you are in a situation that maybe you've just gone through a breakup, or maybe you're in the process of going through a breakup, allow yourself space, time to heal. Let me say it again, allow yourself space and time to heal. Because most of us like to rush into something else. We like to move quickly because most of us don't want to heal. We want to hold. But that does not allow you to address the wounds and learn the lessons, because what you're doing is taking the same energy, the same toxicity, the same drama, the same imbalances into the next situation. And what happens? It ends. And it's a revolving door because we don't allow ourselves to heal after our breakups, or when we go through something, as it can be traumatic when you go through a breakup, because it's a form of grief. Just like when you lose a loved one to death, a relationship ending can be the same way. Allow yourself the time to heal through the grief. We don't even want to do that. We don't want to feel the emotion. How many of us just like to listen to sad love songs, or call a friend, or just go out? We'll do anything to numb the healing process. And Pluto and Aquarius is saying, no, soulmates, not today. We have to heal, because this is the only way we get to truly find out what love really is. See, if you keep trying to jump into something and you haven't even found that love for yourself after the last situation, what do you think is going to happen? You still don't even know what love looks like, because you don't even know how to love you enough to be still and to figure out how to heal. So, how do you think you're going to move forward and live happily ever after when the foundation still can't be built? You have not built the foundation within. Does it make sense, soulmates? We can't give anybody that we have not received, that we have not experienced. That's why I come to you, soulmate, with my lived experience. I can't talk about anything I have not felt. I write about things that I have lived through. Carolyn says, hey, Carolyn, chose to no longer wear the mask. I'm not a very good actress. Okay, come on, queen. I am a good actress, but not when it comes to my emotions, because I wear my heart on my sleeve and I can't. Thank you, Carolyn, for the donation. I can't hide it. I'm a Scorpio, and my emotions, they show. Either I don't normally get violent. If I get angry, then that's how you know I have already hit rock bottom, because I have come completely out of alignment with who I am. I don't even like being angry. Most often than I tend to resort to silence. I shut down. That's normally my way. I had to learn how to stop shutting down, because who hurts the most when they hold in their truth? You, soulmates. You harm yourself the most. That's energy that needs to be released. So you're repressing, you're suppressing, oppressing yourself from speaking your truth. Yes, Lisa. I think a lot of divine feminine, our energy, most of us probably were taught women don't yell, we don't argue, we don't fuss, we don't cuss. We look pretty, we smile to keep from crying, and we carry everybody's stuff on our shoulder. Well, who's there for us? Who's our safe space? Where do we go to heal out loud? If we're allowing everybody to heal on us and through us and dump on us, where do we go to heal? That's why we have to learn how to speak our truth. And the divine feminine has been on a very powerful evolutionary period this entire year. We have realized that we have so much more power, so much more strength, more truth inside of us, more than we have ever even known. Because the world has tried to tell us that a woman can't run the country, that a woman can't do anything. And that's not true. And that's why Pluto and Aquarius is happening. And that's why we're in the boat that we're in now, because of the toxic world that we've lived in that still thinks that the divine feminine is not strong and powerful enough to run a whole country. We are powerful beings, all of us, but especially the divine feminine. When she steps into her feminine power, speaking her truth, embracing her authenticity and her loving heart, because we are loving beings. In fact, we are the creators, we are the life givers. So we are the natural healers. We teach people how to love, we teach people how to connect, but we have to embrace it. We have to own it within first. That's how you wake up dead, Chris. Cussing can be satisfying, Carolyn. Don't get me wrong. It's okay to cuss. Like, I do it all the time. I'm always cussing at myself. But I would never cuss at somebody else. That doesn't make me feel better. Like when I have to yell, I don't like to cuss at people. I know a lot of people do, but Carolyn, that's just not me. I shut down. I don't have time to be arguing and fussing and fighting. I am too much of a lover. Because for me, it makes me get too low. And my type of low soulmates, but y'all know when I go low, I go low. I can't allow myself to go low. When I get angry, Carolyn, it drains me physically. I'll tell you, last year when I was in that last situation, I got so angry with this person. There was a side of me that came out that I had never seen before. It did feel freeing. Why? Because I was finally able to speak my truth. And it only became anger because I had been holding it in for so long. And when I finally let it out, it came out as anger. And the next day I was exhausted. I laid in the bed the whole day because my energy wasn't right. It doesn't feel good for me because I'm a loving being. And I'd rather have healthy conflict, healthy dialogue. We can agree to disagree with love because that's the way I live. That's the way I move. And if people can't match that energy, then I have to remove them. Hey, Silverback. It's good to see you. That part. That part, April. And here we are. See, we have to learn how to step outside our comfort zone because that's the thing. The world has been comfortable with the way things have been. But no, we are not. I'm not comfortable anymore abandoning my truth, swallowing my tongue, trying to appease other people, not setting boundaries. And I have to be, I'm totally transparent with you, soulmates. From the early years of being a child, from the early age, earliest I can remember is 4, I've allowed people to violate my body, my mind, because I never felt powerful or strong enough. Because there was always a people pleaser inside of me that felt like I had to do these things to make other people happy. And as a young adult female, that's the same mentality that I had because I never knew what love looked like. Nobody ever taught me what true love looked like. And it wasn't until all of, like I said, all the heartbreak, all the disrespect, all the chaos of not being loved the way I should have been loved, it was because I didn't know how to love me. Had I known that, I wouldn't even allowed any of it. I had to unlearn all the negative ways of love, the people pleasing, the overgiving, the sacrificing, surviving. I had to learn that that is not it. And the best thing I can do is speak my truth and be more in love with me than somebody else. Hey, family. Hey, Chris. Hey, Gary. Hey, friend, how are you? And hello to all my other meditators that just joined as we are talking about this Pluto and Aquarius energy. We are here to talk about not only love soulmates, but we're talking about truth and most importantly, healing through love. Healing, love as a tool for it. Because see, we never thought about that. This is new. This is a new concept. Because usually when we have disagreements in our relationships and our connections, we either fuss and fight, we break up, we separate, we grow apart, and then usually there's some resentment lingering. When I think about all the people that I know who don't have good relationships with like their children's mothers or fathers if they're not together, I always wonder, well, why can't you get along with them? What is this really about? Because if we have a child together and we're no longer together, then why can't we get along? I couldn't understand. What is this really about? Is this because you all still resenting each other for what happened or didn't happen in a past situation? It's time to heal it. Because the more you stay angry, the more you stay resentful, is the less time you allow yourself to get to the love that you deserve, the people that are waiting on you. When we close the door, soulmates, one thing I know about spirit, spirit is getting ready to prepare you for something. You have got to allow certain situations, relationships, partnerships, friendships, doors to close. You have to separate to elevate. You have to be in a position. Let spirit lead. Even if it's not making sense, it won't make sense. And it will be painful and chaotic. But on the other side of it is something more powerful. See, I didn't know that 6 years ago when my marriage ended. I thought that was it. I could not even see life outside of that. I was so hard on myself. I was so low vibrational. I was thinking, oh, I'm a 35-year-old about to be divorced woman with one child. What man is gonna want me? Because I had an affair. I'm an adulterer. I painted a very negative picture of myself. That's how much I didn't love me. I thought I was the worst person in this world. So much so that I let the fear tell me your life is not even worth it. Throw the whole life away is what my brain told me, because the fear silenced the love, because I couldn't hear it. I couldn't even feel it. I did not know what self-love looked like, because I never saw it. I never experienced it. I never have anybody show me how to love me. I had to learn the hard way, the very hard way. And that's why I'm saying now, and Pluto and Aquarius is saying, no, we have got to start from the beginning, start from the foundation. What's the foundation with yourself? How do you love yourself? How do you show up for yourself? Because the same way you show up for you is the same way somebody else is going to show up for you. Namaste. Once compatible, got to be some mutual compatibility. Not only that, Silverback, for me, it's deeper than compatibility. For me, it's alignment. See, I need to know that you believe in something greater than me, greater than us. Are we working towards something for the big of humanity? Because that's where I'm at. I'm here trying to create a legacy. I want somebody that can help co-create this, whatever that looks like. I'm not saying they have to do what I do, but are you pouring into others? Are you creating a foundation for a legacy to be built? Because we all are being called to do that. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. And if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube, make sure you do so you can hear the rest of the letter. And remember, soulmates, I do that because there is power in us healing out loud. Because chances are the person that wrote that letter is experiencing something that somebody else is going through. Probably several people are going through right now. Thank you. So if you are sitting right now in a comfort zone and you're about to abandon yourself, soulmates, I want you to pause. Be honest with yourself, because this is the year of evolution, awakening. That's the awakening process. That's the moment. As when you wake up and you realize, I had this all wrong. I realize this is not how this was supposed to look. This is not what love looked like. This is not how I'm going to be able to be free, to be able to truthfully be myself, and most importantly, to reflect the God within. We are all spiritual beings. And if you're in alignment with people spiritually, mentally, emotionally, again, it doesn't have to be physical. That's the problem. Most of us, we start with the physical, and then all the other stuff comes later, if it comes. Most of us get physical first before we even know who are you? Whose energy is this that I'm even allowing inside of me or around me? We don't even think about that because we live in a world where it's just physical. We confuse sex with intimacy. We think that that's love. We think passion is love. That is not love. Once again, that is not love. Who told us that was love? Oh, the world, Disney, the movies, the Harley Quinn books, all of it. That is not love. Physical connection does not mean spiritual connection. And if you are truly on a path, on a true spiritual path, then you will realize that truthfully, I can't be physical with somebody that does not have a spiritual connection. I have to feel something greater than just a physical attraction. At this age, soulmates, that's just not sufficing for me because I know what my values are and I lead with integrity and I know who I am as an individual. So a man looking physically attractive or a man who thinks he has all his money is not going to impress me. Not a woman that has values and standards and leads with integrity, not a godly woman. That doesn't work for women like us because we've healed. See, I didn't understand this until I started to heal. That's when I learned how to love me. That's when I learned how I should be treated. That's when I learned what it is that I really wanted. That's when I learned how to love people unconditionally. I don't hold grudges. For what? That's just a form of fear and control. See, that's the ego. The ego gets in the way because the pride gets in the way, control gets in the way. All of the things, again, these are all low vibrational energies. Love is the highest. This is where it is. Closest to the divine. This is where we're supposed to be to attract, to create abundance, prosperity. This is where you have to be in alignment. We can't attract anything, anybody down here. And if you do, well, that's what you're going to get because you can only attract that which you are. So when you look in the mirror, what do you see? Who are you? And I mean outside of the titles, outside of your paycheck, outside of being somebody's mother, wife, sister, auntie, cousin. You are a being of the divine. Who are you? What do you like to do? What are your joys? What are your passions? I didn't even know what my passions were, soulmates. I didn't know who I was. Whenever I would be in a relationship, we would just be about my partner, what they wanted to do. How can I help them win? I had no goals. I had no dreams. I just wanted to be, I don't know if I was trying to be a trophy wife. I don't know what I was doing. I just thought that that's what love looked like. Let me just be the supportive woman. Let me not just, let me keep peace. Let me not cause chaos. But me being honest and having a voice doesn't make me chaotic. It makes me a strong, powerful woman that knows what she wants. And I would never disrespect my king, but at the same time, a queen deserves it in return. That's alignment. That's love. And anytime somebody steps out of alignment, once you are in alignment, you can't go back. Once you wake up, soulmates, you can't go back to sleep. Once you start to truly see and feel what love truly is, there's no going back. So when it doesn't feel good physically, emotionally, mentally, then you know this isn't it. It's draining me. Healing and growing is a challenge for the partner that is not. It is, Carolyn. And that's why the cracks will be exposed. We're outgrowing each other. Now, there's opportunities where you can get back into alignment if two people are willing to do the work. And not because the other one wants you to do it. You have to want to do the work for yourself. Again, you can't love on nobody else if you're not loving yourself. You can't heal anybody else if you have. How can you do that when you have not even healed? And truthfully, it's not our responsibility to heal anybody else. Like I told my friend the other day, you can't heal anybody but yourself. And when the healed version of you shows up in the world, then the people around you will start to heal too. That's how it works. When you radiate, heal, love, connection, unity, joy, that's what you attract. And the people around you either get into a flow state with you or they disappear. It just is, and it doesn't make them bad. And it doesn't mean you love them any less. You just love them from afar. Chris says, I sent to both my sons' high school graduations in San Diego with the second wife. And the first wife was trying to figure out what hotel I was staying at after she lied on me under oath to get her divorce from me. And she didn't even know I had been remarried for 5 years at the time. Wow. She found out at Benihana's when she saw my wife's 5-carat ring and her B2-carat tennis bracelet and her Hermes, Dior, and Louis Vuitton bags. Wow. And see, I love that you're a giver, Chris. I love that. And that's unfortunate that she had to find out like that. But even still, that's not even love. And I love that you're a giver. And don't get me wrong, we all love designer things. But anybody can do that. And I'm not saying that you're not a lover, because you are. But I know men that can do that, and they think that that's love, and then that's it. And I keep saying, for me, that's not enough. That won't suffice. Because outside of all of this, are we in alignment? At the end of the day, you can make all the money in the world. You can have all the titles, all the jewels, all the bags. If you're not in alignment, and if we don't have a solid foundation, none of this will work. None of this will suffice. Hey, Nicole, partner to your king. You have the same back as the queen. That's it. That's all that it's about. Teamwork makes the dream work. How many of you seen? Have you all seen Ruth and Boaz on Netflix yet? The movie. I think Tyler Perry produced it, but I thought it was cute. I like the storyline, but realistically, when you think about the stories, the couples in the Bible, there was always an alignment. They had a spiritual alignment. Most often than not, the divine masculine received the sign, the message from spirit on which way to move, because he's a godly man leading as the divine masculine king that he is, and his divine feminine queen is following his lead because he's led by the divine. See, that's spiritual alignment. That's what love looks like in 2025 and beyond. This is how we're going to dismantle the way love was built on, the toxic foundation. This is why we can't stay married. This is why the divorce rates are so high. This is why it's hard for certain women to get married these days, because we're not in alignment. We're too busy thinking about how many degrees I have and how much money I'm making, how much they do and don't, that we have lost track on what the real purpose is for us being here and what love truly looks like. Because if you are in alignment and you have a solid foundation and you can work together, guess what? You can build a whole empire. You can build money. You can get money. If you can work together, and if you can build, and if you can keep love at the foundation of the connection, anything can be built. You soulmates. Think about it. I blame social media and comparison lifestyles. Hey, Solomon, how are you, soulmate? Oh, Nicola says, I'm done with marriage and I don't trust men. Nicola, sorry. Listen, okay, I'll be 42. That looks like an E. I'm gonna have to get some glasses. Okay. I'm sorry that you feel that way. I don't want you to be done with men, but I can understand. There's a period, I think a lot of women have gone through that. And I know you're probably in a path of healing, but they're not all like that. And to truth be told, Nicola, once you truly step into your full divine feminine essence and embrace the divine feminine queen that you are, and remember your spiritual gifts and who you are on the inside, watch, that energy will change, because you'll realize that you are a powerful, loving being, and you are going to attract the right person for you. That's right. And it's okay to be an independent woman, but I'd rather be interdependent, meaning I have mine, you have yours. Now let us co create and build something bigger. Again, I'm trying to create a legacy on healing, on love, on connection. But we keep getting it confused with the foundation. I had a conversation on Friday. For those that don't know soulmates, I also bartend outside of this, because healing goes everywhere. And at the bar is really where the healing is needed. And I was talking to a customer, and he's talking about he's been married before and he's dating, but he realized that a young lady that he was dating only came around after he gave her money. And he realized that it felt too transactional. And he told her, like, this doesn't feel good. I'd rather you just come around me because you want to spend time with me, not just because I gave you something. And I said, I don't blame him. You're right, King. You deserve more than that. And she needs to know that she's worth more than that. See, this is the world I grew up in. I was 80s baby, 90s raised. And I grew up in a culture that said money, power, respect was the key to life. Women, utilize your feminine gifts to get money to make this man give you more and more and more. That was before social media. That was the music. That was the movies. That was even before social media. That was just the way the world created it. And I'm talking about even before then, truthfully, Because if we go back generations to generations, back when women didn't go to work, they sat there and they put up with whatever the man put them through. And they, what did they do? Just lay on their back and do their business. Because as long as that man was bringing home the money, that woman didn't have anything to say. She couldn't say anything. But this is 2025 and we're speaking truth. And we realize I can go home, I can go out there and bring home the bacon too, King. So what else do we have? Where is the alignment? Where is the foundation of this connection? He was her piggy bank and he didn't even realize it. I am the offspring of a narcissistic nightmare. I'm missing something. Alan said something about the seven sins. Comparison predates social media. It just makes it more obvious. Yeah, that is so true. You said you're an offspring of a narcissistic nightmare. Wow, Alan, that's powerful. That is powerful, Alan. The person that I was interacting with last year was a narcissist. I had never experienced anything like that before in my life. That is a nightmare because a narcissist is somebody who they truly don't know how to tap into that part of them, or rather, they're afraid to tap into that love because of whatever happened to them. They feel the need to control the way people show up. They feel the need to manipulate. If they don't get their way, or if you don't give them what they want, how they want it, then they try to. For me, it was breadcrumbing, it was emotional abuse, it was psychological abuse, almost like, I'll give you this, but you're not behaving. Or if you don't do this, I won't give this to you. Quid pro quo, so to speak. And it was so disgusting. And I had no idea what this was. It can be very chaotic. And it took months for me to realize that, wait a minute, I don't deserve this. I've never been in alignment with this person. I've been too busy trying to fight and struggle to find my voice and to make them love me the way that I want to be loved. I don't have time for that. I'm just going to find somebody else to do it who's in alignment with me because that's all God was trying to get me to see. Do you want this? Because as soon as you close this door, there is something else out there. See, soulmates, we are blocking our blessings. We stay in situations, we stay in places that we have outgrown, they have expired. It's just like taking a carton of milk out the refrigerator that's expired. It's spoiled. If the relationship is expired, it's spoiled. Let it go. No matter how hard it is, you deserve it. You deserve that peace. You deserve to find true love. I'm done showing what I can do. What can we do for each other? The divine masculine and the divine feminine has been going through this battle all year. If you recall, soulmates, back in March, when Venus went retrograde, we were going through a powerful shift, especially the divine feminine, because we had to really dig deep and start to see where we keep perpetuating the same ultimately toxic structures that we were taught, the same things that we were shown. We had to realize we don't have to overexert ourselves. We don't have to overgive, overextend, or do any of those things. And I kept saying, men that lead with their wallets have to realize that that doesn't make them any more or less than a man. And I realized for a lot of divine masculine that they equate their manhood on their value, their money, how much they have. They equate their manhood on their worth. And I kept saying, but why would you think that that is all your worth? Why do you think that that is love? I've seen so many men lately over the last 2.5 years that I have had to question and ask them, why do you put up with toxic relationships or toxic situations? Or why do you overgive and give to women that you know are not making you happy? What are you gaining out of this? And what are you afraid of? Because we all deserve more. Do we not? Nicola says, my ex-husband in peace rubbish of his new wife, he went to, I don't know what that is, to Bloom Light, but won't stop playing games. I'm not sure what Bloom Light is. But That's the toxic story that we have got to dismantle. That's why for the next 20 years, while Pluto is in Aquarius, while we are going through these shifts, remember, soulmate, Scorpio, I'm sorry, Mercury and Mars are in Scorpio right now. So, yes, this is me speaking truth because it's time about the things that we need to go deep on. And it starts with our love, the way we connect, soulmates. We are not loving on each other right. I can't tell you how many men have tried to reach out to me since doing this work. And every time they try to connect with me, they always start talking to me about a relationship. And it's always the same story. Nobody knows how to love, and nobody knows their self worth because we don't know self love. And it always goes back to the same thing. How can you love somebody else if you don't even love yourself? And if that's all that you think you're worth, then that's all you will attract. Let them. Let your ex play mind games. Because see, here's the thing, Nicola. Can't nobody play a game with you if you're not engaging. So once you fall back, once you reclaim that energy, he go play with somebody else. He gonna play outside in the street with himself. But if you're not there to engage, then game over. It's just that simple. You are enough. You have always been enough. But more importantly than you are enough, you have to show yourself you're enough. You have to lead with I am enough. So when you walk out into the world, you let the world know I'm more than enough. And so when a gentleman or another person approaches you and they try to court you or they try to date you, see, they'll see, oh, you got your head on straight. You know your value. You know your worth. I've had men tell me I've intimidated them. I've had men tell me I'm too much. And I'm grateful. You are right because I love me enough to know that I'm not settling for anything that's less than an aligned connection. And I'm not apologizing. That's what the whole purpose of healing is. Healing to reclaim your power, your voice, and your truth of who you are in your power and what you're capable of creating and attracting. Because you don't have to chase anything, you attract it. When your energy is here, you attract it, soulmates. You don't have to go find it. Keep living and embodying love, and love will naturally radiate towards you, it gravitate towards you. I didn't even realize how much it truly even shows on the physical. Because I hear so many people tell me, you look so young for your age. I'll be 42 on the 28th. They're like, you don't look 28. I mean, you don't look 42. You have such good energy. Your skin is glowing. That is the love that I choose to lead with. That's the God within me. Because when I have nasty, low vibrational energy, it reflects. Your skin is breaking out. You don't have that glow. You look stressed. You feel stressed. Your body is overwhelmed. I told you when I was dealing with that narcissist last year, my left shoulder was throbbing. See, the left side is the feminine side. I wasn't receiving enough. So spirit is trying to get my attention, soulmate. I still tried to ignore it. I still tried to fight. I put up with it as long as I could until I couldn't anymore. And let's just say in December of 2024, something happened and it shook me up and I was never the same. A tower moment for me to realize it's time to exit. You knew this. What are you waiting on? It's time to go. When spirit is trying to get you into a certain direction or put you on a certain path, and you keep resisting, soulmates, and you keep trying to fight and struggle with the things you don't want to let go, oh, it will get snatched from you. Something drastic has to happen for you to shift. Well, if you don't resist, and if you go ahead and accept it when you first realize it, it won't have to be so drastic. But for most of us, because we're humans, we don't take heed when it first starts to show, when our intuition first starts speaking to us. We try to ignore it. We try to talk ourselves out of it. Maybe I'm being too hard. Now, maybe I should just give him another chance. And I'm not saying don't forgive, but at some point, you have to realize that certain people are not changing. And they don't mean to be toxic individuals, they just don't know any better. And you don't have to overwhelm and burn yourself out trying to prove it. You don't ever have to prove your truth to anybody or prove your worth or value to anyone. And if they can't see it in you, then that means they weren't in alignment with you to begin with. Nicola, to answer your question, no, I do not attend church. I don't. I know it sounds like I do. I don't, but I'm highly spiritual. Everything I speak about comes from lived experience. I speak from my heart. When spirit guides me, that's what I speak. I don't go to church. And forgiveness is a process. I talk about it in my book. That was one of the first things I had to do. But you got to forgive you first. See, that's the hardest thing is forgiving yourself. Again, it starts within, it starts with you. I can't forgive them if I haven't forgiven me too. I can't love me. I can't love them if I haven't loved me too. So we can't get what we need in love if we have not found it. That's why Pluto and Aquarius is here. This has been 247 years in the making, soulmates. This is the only time we're going to experience this shift in our entire lifetime. So if you are experiencing some shakeups in your relationships, even just think about it on the world stage. How many of these celebrity couples have you just heard about recently that just announced that they're separating or they're divorcing or whatever the case may be? Because they realize that they're no longer in alignment. This foundation isn't solid. And then when you get a certain point, certain age, you realize life is too short to be unhappy. If I got this one last day here on earth, I am not going to spend it in a situation that I'm not happy in. Arguing with somebody to prove my love and my worth and my value to. Life's too precious. Yes, that's who it was, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban. Right. It was big news for the world. And I was like, oh, okay then. I didn't care because people divorce all the time, but I know it was like a big deal. I guess they were one of the few Hollywood couples still together. But it's not shocking because it's just time for this awakening. When people have started to realize that they deserve more, they want more, that's the awakening process. This is the year of the Great Awakening. I told you, soulmates, if you have not had that awakening moment last year or even prior to, you get the opportunity to have it this year. And if you don't do it this year, guess what? 2026. It's never a wrong time to have the awakening moment. But for some of us, we've already experienced it. We've already felt that evolution. And a lot of us are saying, I'm okay being single because right now I'm in love with just being me and being free. That's powerful. I love it. I've been there. It is so freeing. See, that's the part that we have to just be still, sit in it, sit with the singleness, find out who you are. So when you decide to open up that door again to dating, now you know what you want. Now you know your values. Now you know what you won't put up with, what you will tolerate, what your non negotiables are. You recognize the red flags, the yellow and the green flags. And most importantly, you trust your intuition and your discernment. Divorce is a certificate for freedom. Marriage has a sell by date. You get bored with each other. I'm married to myself. I think marriage is what you make it. I couldn't get it right the first time because I didn't have a clear understanding on what marriage was. The foundation wasn't there. The foundation wasn't there within me, is what I'm saying. So I couldn't be the wife that I should have been when I was married because I couldn't understand it. I couldn't find that within me. I still had a lot of evolving and growing to do. And I do want to be married again someday. Not today or tomorrow, but when the time is right, I know it'll be here. Sit in that rocking chair with your loyal pet by your side, ladies. And I mean the furry one, April. You don't even have to sit in the rocking chair. Go outside, queen. Go for a walk. Go to the spa. Go take yourself out on a date. I told you when I turned 42 years, 3 years ago. Wait, 2 years ago. That was the first time I ever did anything on my own. And I had went through a breakup and I was like, I just need to regroup. I need to figure me out. I had just turned 40 and I'm in Sedona, Arizona, having the time of my life. I don't know anybody. And I could care less. I never felt freer, more liberated. I put my phone on do not disturb and I shut the world out because I needed to sit still and sit with spirit to figure out what are you trying to get me to see? Because something is not clicking here, spirit. What am I doing wrong? I know I'm a loving being, but how come I keep attracting people that can't match me? They're not aligning with me. Make it make sense, Spirit. Spirit said, okay, you have to find it first. You have to figure out truly what that looks like. And then I have to allow Spirit to lead me to the partner, or rather, them find me. See, we don't even know how to find people that are spiritually aligned with us because we don't even know what spiritual alignment looks like. And I don't mean you have to find somebody that goes to church. Again, I don't go to church soulmates. I'm highly spiritual. But that doesn't mean that I love God any more or less than the next man or woman. And if you don't go to church, it doesn't mean that either. As long as you believe in something greater than you, is what I always say. And that can be the universe, that can be the people, the greater good, it can be humanity. Whatever your belief is, I'm not here to debate or judge. But what I am here to talk about is what love looks like. And I don't care what your faith is. I guarantee you that everything that all of the faiths, all of the religions, and all of the cultures talk about is love unconditionally, serving, giving to others, connection. I don't care what religion you serve. I don't care what entity, what deity, whatever it is that not the foundation of it all? Love. Hey, Rachel. Being confused, marriage with codependency. Live your life with or without a partner. Yes, codependency. I said that earlier, Rachel. We confuse that. We can confuse codependency with love, guilty. Sex with love, passion with love, guilty. Been there, done that. That's why Spirit had to sit me down 2 years ago and say, sugar, this is not it. You're missing it. And it's not just us going on trips and having good times and posing in the pictures. No, love is, if I can't get out this bed today because something inside of me is telling me I'm not worthy right now. Can you be there to hold my hand while I save myself? Can you help me remember my godly ways, the God within me when I'm hard on myself, when the world is trying to shut me down? Can you pour into me the same way I pour into you? Can we walk together and co-create something beautiful? Hey, T lady. I love how your autocorrect called me Jeans. I know you meant to say Keana Nicola. I know it always happens, but thank you. But that's exactly what love looks like. And that's what this energy has always been about. And I'll never forget last November, I was so excited because I woke up feeling different. And even though I was still in communication with that person, I was like, no, Spirit is telling me that whatever this energy is, it's about to transform my life on so many levels. But I knew it was about love. And I went live. I think I went live for the first time on Instagram and maybe even Facebook because I was getting ready to tell the soulmates, hey, guess what? We're about to learn how to love differently. We get a chance to create this. We're about to start from scratch because this is not love. Love does not look like sending the National Guards into the city. Love does not look like sending ICE to snatch people up off the street and take them from their kids. That's not love. The very foundation on which this world was built was on nothing but fear. That part, absolutely. That's why I'm like, no. If we don't start to heal and wake up to the love within, then we'll keep living in the fear. That's why I sit here and do these. This is why I wrote Healing Out Loud. This is why Healing Out Loud, the series, is coming. Because as long as I'm here, we're going to learn how to love and heal and build, walk in connection with our divine counterparts, people that we can build with financially, people we can build with spiritually, emotionally. And if you want it to be physical, okay. But it has to be more than just the basics. I can still love somebody that I'm no longer with because I love them unconditionally. And even the narcissist that I was with last year, love him unconditionally. And I love the fact that he helped me see I deserve more than that. And I wish him nothing but love and life. And I do hope that he heals. Oh, thank you, Marcy, for your generous donation. I appreciate that. See, that's what love looks like. That means I can love my enemy. I can love this man who violated my body, who violated my mind, who violated my soul from afar and not have resentment and not have hatred because that takes a lot of growth work. That takes a lot of forgiveness and a lot of healing. And I had to constantly call on God and say, but God, I didn't deserve this when all I'm trying to do is just be me. And the world keeps trying to chew me up and spit me out. But I'm not going to stop loving and leading with my heart. Now, I will use my discernment, and I definitely have strong, ironclad boundaries because I don't play about my energy and my heart, soulmate. People are playing with the divine. Rachel, they are playing. The karmic retribution will be huge. That's it. I've been telling people this is a reckoning. Are you going to get your shit together for God or no? Are you going to get in alignment with spirit or no? Wake up to what spirit is trying to get you to see. Shut out that chaos. Because as long as you look at the news and as long as you're living in fear, that's the more time that you spend in love. That's the more less time you spend in love. That's more time you spend in negative energy. Now, what do you think you're going to attract? You can't focus on building your wealth. You can't focus on building a legacy because you're too busy looking at the negatives. You're too busy looking at the glass as half empty. I know that's right. What spirit say, Rachel? I tried that once. Why me? I heard, why not you? Why not me? Why not me? And I said, you know what, God? I know why me. Because who else is going to do this? Who else is going to survive suicide, live, and then talk about it and help people heal? Because nobody else was doing it. So I had to do it. This is the only way we're going to save some lives. Because guess what's getting ready to happen? People are losing jobs. People are being separated. They're being dragged outside of their houses, their work, schools. What do you think is about to happen? People are going to be very anxious, overwhelmed, stressed, depressed, burned out. What do we need? More love, connection. Those people need to know that they're not alone. They need to feel connected. Now is not the time to be isolated and separated. And that's exactly what they're doing. And Spirit is trying to get us to see that no, find that love within. Find out what true love is. And then realize what your real purpose is on this earth. And it's not to just be living in chaos or living in a cocoon. Don't pretend like you can't see it. Oh, you see it because you can feel it. That's what this year is teaching us, and it's going to continue. For the next 20 years, Pluto's in Aquarius. And for the next 3 years, we have the administration that we have. And the more they do fear-based things, is the more I lead with love. The more the government tries to tell me something, is the more I say, nope, that's just the devil. Come on, Spirit, what's next? Because I cannot allow that to deter me or to knock me off of what I'm doing. I realize they're cutting the funding for mental health, state funding. And I remember reading this back in March, and I said, God, what is that going to do for the American people? And what can I do? Because we can't wait on anybody to give us that support because now they're cutting the funds. This is just another way of them trying to keep us sick, keep us stuck. They don't want us to learn how to be our own medicine. So what do? They cut us right where we need it financially. And now we're struggling. Now we're overwhelmed. And I'm saying no, because if you align, you find your purpose, your people, those that you can co-create with, you can build wealth. You can build love. You can find true connection and rebuild. As terrifying as it may look, because it can be terrifying, but if you have the right people that can support you and we can walk side by side, hand in hand in the same direction, that's how we succeed, soulmates. That's how we're going to win. This is how we're going to step into the great awakening. This is how we're going to fight against the powers that be, the status quo, the patriarchal, toxic system that we've been living in since before we got here. I had biggest lessons on discovery of myself with my ex. I had lessons to learn. Boy, did I. Didn't we all, Nicola? So how about this, Nicola? Be grateful. Thank that ex because you learned so much about yourself in that relationship. You could have not learned anything and you could have carried everything from that relationship into another relationship. And it would have been the same thing over and over again. That's how many people are still doing that. People are still doing that because they're not waking up and realizing that Spirit is putting this mirror up in your face. Spirit is bringing this person in your life to show you where you are still struggling with your healing. Because if they're triggering you like this, then what does that tell you about yourself? That's a wound that you need to resolve and address. Because can't nobody trigger something that you don't already have within. I can't be triggered anymore, soulmates. That was always my own worst trigger. But now I can because I just refuse to. I'm in love. I trigger for what? Especially not in this world. Not after all I've been through. I didn't live and fight for my life to go backwards, to be back in fear. That's foolish. And I don't want anybody to feel alone or isolated or fearful right now, especially right now. I think I'm going to do what you're doing. Don't watch the news. Sometimes you have to turn that off, and even social media. But and for one thing about social media, soulmates, I always tell people take social media breaks. I often did it. When I first went through my awakening 2 years ago, I went off social media and I was just on Inside Timer. Now I'm on social media because I know that my message needs to be received all over the world. And so I'm on social media spreading love, healing, connection, speaking truth, because that's the quickest way that I can reach millions of people all over the world. So I'm grateful for social media in that regard. And if we don't like what social media or what they're showing on social media, then let me create something that I like to see on social media. And that's love, healing, connection, building, growth, evolution. So now when I go on social media, that's all I see. Because you know the algorithm goes off of whatever it is that you look at. It's basically mimicking you. The algorithm is your reflection, soulmates, basically. And sometimes you got to be careful who you're friending on social media because, again, they're not in alignment with you. Unfriend them. If they're toxic, unfriend them. If all they talk about is chaotic stuff, toxic stuff, unfriend them. Anyone, any organization's negativity, I shut them off. Absolutely. I just watch funny and uplifting reels and videos. And you know, April, I don't even look at stuff. I just usually post. I try to comment, but I allow spirit to use me as the messenger. So I wake up and I say, Spirit, what's the message? Or sometimes at night it comes to me. And then I release the message because I know that somebody in this world needs to hear it. There's a lot of somebodies that need to hear it. And those that will receive it. And those that don't, then they won't. And to each their own. But I know what my intentions are. See, I lead with love and light, and I come with love. That's all that there is to it. The occupational therapist annoyed me, so block their number. Okay, do what you got to do. Everybody is going through a shakeup right now. I remember I went to court a couple of weeks ago. I thought my son had he had a little fender bender in the summer. I thought he had to go to court. Turns out he didn't have to go to court. We wasted our time. But as we were walking back to the car, I saw a man and a woman in the parking lot arguing. I mean, cussing loud. And all I could think was, that's that Pluto and Aquarius energy. I don't know if they're going through a divorce, but right now they can't stand each other. And I bet when they first met, they were all over each other. I'm sure it wasn't always that chaotic. But see, when we can't realize that the same thing we don't like in that individual is the same thing that we don't like about ourselves because they're only reflecting you to you. And the minute we can realize that is the minute we can start to speak and see our real truth and realize that, you know what? This is not me. I'm no longer this person. So it's not you, it's me. Let me remove myself because I can't change you. I won't change you, nor am I responsible for changing you. So let me just change me because that's all I got control over. I got control over how I react, how I respond, and whether or not I'm going to continue to allow this. You change, you grow apart. Like I said, sometimes you have to separate in order to elevate, in order to appreciate. Sometimes people can appreciate your value until you leave. As they say, you never know what you got until it's gone. Oh, thank you. So allow that to resonate with you, soulmates, as you think about where you are today, as you think about what these years look like from the beginning. And I don't know about you, soulmates, but maybe you've had people come in and out of your life throughout this year. How many of us may have jumped into a new relationship thinking that this is going to be something new? Because sometimes people jump into relationships too quickly because they haven't healed. We make the same mistakes and then we get older and older. And then we wonder why old fools, they used to be young fools because they haven't learned. And I don't want to be old and still making the same mistakes. I don't want to be 42 still making the same mistakes. And when you know better, you do better, you lead better. The more you heal, the more you feel, the more people can feel that energy. I read an excerpt from a letter that I received earlier today, soulmates, for those that just joined. But I'll read the rest on my series because some things I want to share, I don't know if I can share it on Inside Timer. I don't know if they're still screening, but a lot of the things I would like to say, I don't feel too comfortable saying it on Inside Timer, but on YouTube, I will go into more detail. So for those that are not following me, please do so. And for all my soulmates that just joined on Inside Timer, please make sure you subscribe so you can receive the notification on when I'll do my next live, because we are healing in real time, soulmates, because the time is now, right now. All we have is now, not tomorrow. We don't even know if we have a tomorrow, but we have today. And I always ask soulmates, what's one thing you can do today or tomorrow that can lead you to being a better version of you? One small shift. And it doesn't have to be anything major. Because when I first started stepping into my transformation, the first thing I do every morning when I would wake up, I would first express gratitude to the universe. I would meditate, and then I would set an intention for the day. And every day throughout 2024, my intention was to lead with heart. No matter what happens outside of me, no matter what anybody throws at me, let me remain in my heart space. Let me always lead with love, because that's who I've always been. But I had been hurt so much that I stopped leading with my heart. I got so jaded and afraid. But I can't live like that. See, we can't be afraid to love if we really want to receive love. Like, you can't put one toe in the water. You have to be fully open. Yes, use discernment, but don't be afraid to open up your heart again, soulmates. If you've been hurt, which a lot of us have been, don't be afraid to love again. Because once you heal, that's how you're able to find that love for yourself. You forgive the other person. And if you're in a period of healing, honor how you feel. I always resort back to my heal method. Honor what you're feeling right now. Honor the pain, honor the grief, honor the hurt. Express it, write it down, cry, sing, dance, do what you have to do to allow yourself to feel the energy. And then I always say, align with something that brings you back to yourself, whether that's going for a walk, having a glass of wine, calling up a friend, going to a movie. Do something for yourself, soulmates. Don't wait on anybody else to make you feel good about yourself. You're your own medicine. I do. I've usually, when I write and burn, I normally do at the full moon. That's part of my full moon ritual, Nicola. When I'm ready to release things, people, I write it and then I burn it. Sometimes I have to write the same thing and burn it several full moons before the energy finally settles. Amen. Lisa says, I have been spoiling myself, buying myself my own gifts. Hey, treat yourself. That's what I told myself. I said, for my birthday, I'm going to treat myself. I'm going to spa, overnight spa. Let me just stay overnight because I deserve that. I've done a lot this year. I've been through a lot this year. And I'm so proud of where I'm at. And I'm proud of you, soulmates, for showing up. You're being here today. Is it too late to do the burning? No, ma'am, because you know what? You're still in the full moon energy. This energy is still very potent right now. And you're good. The new moon is not until October 21st, Nicola. So right now, we're still highly in that full moon, Aries full moon energy. So, and usually the energy you can still feel up to 2 weeks after the full moon. So you most definitely can still do your ritual. Always make time. And even if you don't do it exactly when the moon is full, do what you need to do to bring sanity back to yourself, to bring presence back to you. You can do as many people as you want, Nicola. You can do as many people as you want. I've had to do several cord cuttings. That was one of the things I did years ago. I had to realize that I had to several energetic cords with people, because we don't think about that when we're physically connecting with these people. So you're creating energetic cords. You don't even know if you have a spiritual or an emotional alignment with them, but physically you're connected to them. And as the divine feminine, see, we're carrying that energy because they're inserting us with their energy. They're planting their energy in us. So you think just because that person is gone, you don't still carry that? Absolutely. You're going to carry it into the next situation until you heal, release it. You can do it whatever time you want, beautiful. Oh, Nicola, I have a really good cord cutting ritual. Do me a favor, Nicola, if you haven't, go ahead and subscribe to my website. Go on my website. I will follow up. Actually, I'm glad you said that. I will send that in my next newsletter. Let's do some cord cutting. And in fact, at the end of the year, we're going to do another cord cutting. I did a cord cutting at the end of 2024 because there's a lot of cords that we have to cut. That's how we're going to start to build our foundations. Cut these cords, drain these energies. And when I say cut cords, because this is one of the things I learned, is sometimes you can cut cords with people and you can rebuild a different type of cord if that's what you want. But most often than not, usually when we're cutting a cord, that's it. That's the end. So again, soulmates, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for the donations. Please know that every donation that you give goes towards this work. More books I sell. For those that don't know, I'm the author of Healing Out Loud. This is Healing Out Loud. And every dollar goes towards Healing Out Loud to go towards suicide prevention, the work that I do, because this is what this energy is calling for, soulmates. We are in a period of healing. Through what? Through love. Through love. Healing through love. And one of the things you're going to learn about Healing Out Loud, because it's my book, is the story of how I survived suicide. But not only that, it's what led up to the attempt. And the thing that you're going to see at the foundation of my book is I lacked the self-love. And this is why I couldn't find what it was I was looking for. But it's also a workbook, soulmates. So you too can start to unpack, start to heal, because we're healing in real time. And there's nothing more sexier than somebody who has healed and done their healing work. Because once you can say, I'm not taking this toxic energy, I will not allow what somebody else did to me to infiltrate what I'm trying to co-create with somebody else. That takes strength. That takes emotional maturity. That takes mental maturity. And it takes accountability, which most of us lack. So that's what Healing Out Loud is. If you want to purchase this, you can purchase it on my website. Let's keep this. And also feel free to reach out, soulmates. You can send your letters. For those that don't know, I am creating a series titled Healing Out Loud because we have to heal out loud. And the responses and the letters that I have received, thank you, soulmates, for reaching out and first of all, for feeling safe enough to share with me. And they're anonymous. If you feel comfortable sharing your name, please do so. But I'm doing this because I realize that the more we heal in connection is the more we help others heal. The more we can be honest and truthful about the things we suffer with in silence is the more we can touch somebody else who is suffering in silence. Isn't that the most loving thing you can do? That's what love looks like. And it doesn't cost you a thing by speaking your truth. So if you are interested in that, please feel free to submit your letter. You can go on my website. Again, subscribe to me on Insight Timer. You subscribe to me on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, all of those other platforms if that's your thing. Because everything I talk about, I embody on my platforms. I say what I mean and I mean what I say. And if you want to share your story, soulmates, I invite you to do so. Maybe I'll share it on a future live. I think that is just the most powerful thing we can do. And I think that's the part that people miss the most about love. Because see, love is not always about leaving or staying. Sometimes it's just about seeing where you stop being honest with yourself, where you stop speaking your truth, and when you started confusing your silence with love, when you started allowing comfort to control you. See, the letter that I shared today from that young lady was powerful. And I can't wait to unpack the rest with you, soulmates. Because I know that was just that story, but that was also a mirror for a lot of us. Because that letter showing us the difference between connection and confinement, and love that actually grows you or that just keeps you stuck. So if you are interested in learning more about this, and again, Nicola, reach out. about the cord cutting because I have a powerful cord cutting that I can share with you. I want to sell mine in a Hollywood blockbuster. Thank you. That's okay. Don't worry about it. You should. My story is absolutely going to be a movie. I already knew it. Actually, it came to me in a meditation about a year and a half ago. Spirit already showed it to me. So, absolutely, you can do that. You don't even have to put it in Hollywood because we can make movies right here in our own backyards. That's how powerful we are. We have all the technology and all the means to create whatever we want. And we don't need anybody's money. We don't need Hollywood handouts. We can create whatever it is we want, soulmates. That's how powerful we are. So thank you all, soulmates. Thank you so much for joining. Let me see who all I have here. All 120 of my meditators. And thank you to all of my soulmates on YouTube. Please make sure you guys subscribe on YouTube as well. And soulmates, if there's something that you want me to talk about or unpack, let's get into it because we are healing. And there's nothing too taboo, there's nothing too harsh that we can't speak about. If it's surface level and basic, I'm not going to speak about it. But if it's something that's going to help us heal and evolve, then I'm an open book, soulmate. So please feel free to reach out. And for anybody that has donated, that has listened to my tracks on Inside Time